what is so enthralling about fishing? Like, what do you love most about it? Like, is it the fight? Like, or is it?
It's a great
it's a
question,
mixture of everything, like the places that it takes you, especially when you're land-based. That's probably why I like land-based so much, because it just takes you some amazing places. And then you never know what you're going to catch. So it's the anticipation of what's going to come up. And then I enjoy a feed of fish at the end. Yeah.
Gido, did I say that right?
Yeah, Gido. That's it.
Gido.
You must get a lot of, do you get many Guidos?
I do. People spelling it Guido on YouTube when it's clearly the spelling's already in front of them. But it's just a nickname from Gideon. My name's Gideon, but my nickname's Gido. So
Gido.
Yeah.
It's good to have you, mate. When we put out that you were coming on the show, DMs were blowing up.
Yeah, nice.
You're a cold hero amongst our listeners. There's some fisherman lords.
Yeah. So we should give a little background for people who don't know Gido. He is a YouTuber that does fucking crazy rock fishing videos, incorporates abseiling and adventure, and a lot of these zones. I love how you don't name anywhere, but I watch them and I recognize a lot of these places. And I know how heavy and dangerous these waters are. They're so remote because we've done obviously a lot of wave exploring, but to see you out there doing that shit solo sometimes, I'm like, fuck, this guy's got a thirst for adventure.
Yeah, I love it. I love getting out and checking out somewhere new, and it's definitely I don't know, just pretty apprehensive sometimes before trips, like watching weather, figuring out how I'm going to get to some of these places when I do get out to those remote ones via boat or whatever. Yeah.
So a lot of them trips, you've just got this, what do you call your little boat?
It's a placa.
A placa.
Yeah.
And it looks basically like a bigger jet ski.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like a small boat to be out in them waters.
Yeah. You need to get the right size boat so that you can drag it up on land, but so not be too big that you can't drag up on land, but be small enough.
Yeah.
Be big enough that it's safe to get to the location.
And how many horsepowers on that?
It's got 30 on the back.
30?
Yeah. It fairly flies. I reckon it bogs down more than usual, though. We put a 20 on it at first. And our first trip, I remember it with Dane, put a 20 on the back. They told us, yep, there'll be plenty. There'll be all you need. And he goes, and I'm like, is that full tilt? And I'm like, oh, dear, this is not enough. So we just swapped it out.
Yeah. Especially when you got some like over 15 kilometers out to sea. Yeah, some of these islands, like that's a long way on a little tiny boat.
You want to get up and be planing just like that, especially coming in like any beach landings as well, dodging waves and stuff. So
I saw that video of you, mate. You're like, turns out smooth black rock's the perfect boat ramp, and he's just getting in there straight away. Yeah. That was skits.
Was that with Zed?
That was Dane.
Oh, Dane,
Yeah, that was, so the landing was pretty hectic. He had a wave pretty much swamped the back of him when I put a rope pulley on him and dragged him up. But when I pushed him back out, it just kept on going. Did not want to stop. And he's like in the water trying to start it as fast as he can before a wave like knocks him sideways or something. But yeah.
It's insane, man. How much like time and organization goes into some of those missions? Like, because you've got so many different elements you've got to plan for, hey?
Yeah. It's just a couple of days leading up to it. You see a weather window and you start putting things in place.
So sorry to interrupt, the weather that you're looking for, because as surfers, we're just looking for offshore wind and huge swell.
Yeah.
Are you looking for offshore wind and small swell?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we're both hunting the weather, waiting for that perfect weather window, but just different weather.
You probably feel like we always get what we want, but I feel like it's always what you want.
Yeah, you guys always get huge swell, I reckon.
Man, it's like...
Well, maybe not huge, but definitely bigger than what I want.
Yeah.
How many meter swell do you guys look for?
Pretty much 4 meters or above.
Yeah, okay. So it's not that common then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a classic grass is always greener.
That's what it is. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm normally looking for 2 and below.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
What about like the abseiling element to it? Did you have any...
tell us, where'd you grow up? Your background? How did you...
So I've grown up in the southwest, like numerous different towns. I got into rock climbing when I was living in Perth doing my apprenticeship as a carpenter. But then I lived in Albany for a bit over 10 years and just really got into it down there. That was my main hobby before fishing. And I just learnt the ropes down there.
Literally?
Yep, literally, yep.
So we're by rock climbing as well, because I guess, do you call that traditional climbing? So you're using a lot of harnesses, a lot of abseiling and...
Traditional climbing is using the gear that you place in the cracks.
Yep.
So you're protecting yourself from falling and dying by your own placements. There's no bolts. That's what traditional climbing is.
And that's what you mainly do?
That's what I mainly did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't do it that much these days.
Now it's a means to get somewhere.
Exactly.
Whereas before it's a sport, just, yeah. So who taught you how to climb and all that? And
a lot of it is self-taught, books and stuff like that. Like I had a group of mates. I was the one that got into it, and I was the one learning everything and putting my friends to the test and hoping I don't kill them.
Yeah.
And then I had a older bloke in Albany that I climbed with a lot down there. I guess he was a bit of a mentor.
Yep.
Andreas. Yeah.
Oh, he sounds like a climber.
Yeah. He's
you can just tell.
Where's he from? Austria. Yeah. I remember the first time I climbed with him down there, and I didn't have a clue who he was. And then I looked at the guidebook later on for the area, and I was like, this dude put up like first ascents of things on the year that I was born.
No way.
So
This guy's
that was a
teaching
spin
him.
out.
So if you do a first ascent, does that mean sometimes if you put any permanent bolts or something in, or you're just the first, like
just the first person to get up something, whether you need to place bolts or it's traditional, like your own protection. If you're the first person to get from the bottom to the top without falling or pulling on anything, you get to sort of name the climb and
this
say
can't
how hard it is. And he'd done heaps of it back in the day, yeah.
Andreas and Guido, eh?
Yeah.
Exactly.
you threw the U in like most people.
Yeah. Andreas.
Silent U.
Yeah.
Guido.
Guido.
Yeah. Maybe I need to introduce myself at the start of some of my YouTube videos so people, figure it out a bit. But
I don't reckon there's too many Guidos going around, is it? Like
no, I don't know a couple of Guidos, but they've always got the U.
They fall off rocks, though, I reckon.
Yeah.
So that's probably a massive point of difference for you then. Hey, having that background of abseiling and that confidence, that's allowed you to sort of scale into different environments that other fishermen would not dare to go near. Is that what you sort of saw it as?
That's it. I would be climbing on the cliffs down there quite often and looking at the water and be like, man, I need to chuck a line in one of these days. And that's how it slowly progressed. And then naturally people saw what I was doing and went, this guy's nuts, and sort of slowly turned into a YouTube channel. Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
35. And you got 2 kids? And
2 kids, yeah.
I don't know how many videos you've watched, Buddha, but I went on a bit of a binge the last week or so. And his daughter's in one vid fishing. His son's mad keen as well. So it's going to be like the full family affair. It's so sick.
We could be polar opposite. I'm 35, 2 kids, and I'm the least manly person ever. Right? Your kids are more manly than me. I've seen their fishing efforts. I couldn't catch a cold, eh? That's sick, though. They're growing up around that environment, and it'd be just like second nature to them, eh?
Yeah. I can't wait to get them out on some proper trips. But just on my last one, I was thinking, man, my son would froth to be here, but at the same time, I'd be like, now, Ollie, be very careful. There's 100 different ways you could die here, pretty much. So we'll just have to take it easy.
Does your wife get nervous? Like, I know, like, partners get nervous going on surf trips if it's like knowing that there's always going to be waves of consequences and things. And I feel like your line of work, the summer landscape you're dealing with to fish in crazy open ocean, does your partner get nervous when you go on these missions at all? Or
not really. She's pretty used to it. She's done a bit of rock climbing with me as well. She has been on one trip with me once. But yeah, I think just we've been married for 14 years now. So she's pretty used to it. Yeah. She knows that I can pull it off, and I haven't, had any major, or I've had a couple of major dramas in the early days, but these days I'm pretty switched on and nothing really goes wrong. So
what's one of them dramas? What's one of the worst sort of situations?
Let me see. It's not something that I've said too much about, but like for the public to hear about. My first trip, it is a good story though. My first trip with Dane, we launched somewhere with kayaks to get to a location, and what was it? The swell was, I looked at sea breeze of all things, shouldn't have looked at sea breeze. And I think it said it was like 3.5 meters. So we launched from this cove, hiked in there with all our gear in the kayaks in the dark, and sun comes up and there's just like massive waves almost closing out the cove. And we're like, but we still went because we were young and dumb back then. And we get to the landing site and it's just like massive waves And I'm thinking, crap, are we even going to be able to get in there? And my kayak that I'm sitting in, I've borrowed. And I'm like, man, I'm sitting a bit low in the water with all my gear. And we decide we want to head around and check out a different spot to land. And as we go on there, I remember saying to Dane, I feel like I'm sitting really low. And next thing you know, my kayak just tips over.
Oh.
Super rough water. Apparently it was a 5 meter swell that day. We didn't realize it was meant to be 3.5. That's why you don't look at sea rays. And my kayak had filled up with so much water that it was unstable. I scrambled back on in this like nasty ocean that I feel like the white point is circling sort of thing. And I go over again because it's so full of water. And I'm like, Dane's on a Hobie. So I just cling to the side of him. I'm like, just paddle, paddle, paddle. And I just laying flat across my kayak as he just guns it into the cove. And we just had a little lull as we went in and managed to land there.
Oh. Are you losing gear when you're flipping, or
sorry?
Is it all tied down, all your gear and stuff?
All my gear was inside of my kayak, yeah.
So do they have like bungs and you didn't have the bunging or something?
No, it was had hatches, but I didn't have like the proper seal on the hatches, so water was slowly splashing and leaking in. Yeah. Yeah. So that was hectic as
you're saying that, like 5 meter swell offshore, I was just thinking, I bet you that's a day we're down in the same zone, but chasing slabs.
Probably,
You're chasing like big Jewies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How long was that? Like, were you thinking, fuck, we're in trouble here?
Oh yeah. I was like, that was probably some of the most scared I've been, because I was expecting my kayak to sink in a moment if I'm not careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've nowhere good to land, but somehow we just gunned it for the cove. I couldn't paddle. I couldn't sit on my kayak and paddle because it was just unstable. It would just go over.
Oh, have you? And that was one of the questions that came in a couple of times from our listeners was like, have you got any sketchy like shark encounters? Like,
no, not really. I've seen a couple of bronzies in my kayak while fishing. I've only seen a white once, but that's, I guess I don't jump in the water that often these days as well. Yeah. I'm too paranoid. I wish I could. Like, I enjoyed a bit of spearfishing back in the day, but I spend too much time looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the, because when I like get stuck into a new YouTuber, I want to look at their content. I love going back to their first video to see their evolution kind of thing from their, like, because some of your, don't want to jump back and forth too much, but like some of your videos where you're on these massive cliffs and that, they've got like over 3 million views and even higher on some of them. And then you look back to some of your first videos and some of them Jewies and shit, like you're catching from the rocks, they're fucking massive. And I was thinking like, and your views wise, obviously you've got a smaller audience at the start, but I was thinking like if you were to catch them fish now into your modern way of editing, like with your evolution of all your climbing and all that, like some of that content would be fucking crazy, hey?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, sure. I've had some good sessions back in the day, but I do find that the videos that get the most views are not always about what I catch. It's more about the location.
Yeah. So, and there must be a lot to that sort of cracking that YouTube algorithm, hey, with what, like, I'm sure there's some stuff that you don't think too much of and then it just goes ballistic. And you're like, whoa, people really dig that aspect. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the first time that I fished in the cave that has had the most views. So the first time was just a little day session and then I bailed out around sunset and went and cooked up somewhere else. And I put the video up. I just caught a harlequin, basically caught a couple of average fish, put the video up and it went really well. And I think I said in the video that it looked like a cool spot to camp. Do people reckon I should camp there? And people were like, yep. So I went back and did it and that just took off. And I was not expecting that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that cave, because obviously we've spent so much time down remote spots looking for waves. One day, I've never really used the footage because it was when we're with a bunch of surfers that it was kind of a project that never took off or changed sort of path. It ended up becoming Kirby Brown's Facing Monsters, this crazy surf movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I do need to see it.
Oh, dude, it's fucking
skids.
It's like the best surf movie ever made, I reckon. But yeah, in the years before that, we were kind of scouting spots and we went on this helicopter one day and we rocked up. Like we could see whitewash. There's this crazy slab behind this wave and there's this massive island with a huge opening and it just looks like, it's breathtaking. It looks like something you see in a Hollywood movie. And then when I seen you fishing, camping in cave, it's the first thing I was like, I remember this crazy rock kind of similar. That's actually why I reached out to you. And
Yeah.
I was like, that would be the sickest spot for a fishing sort of some content anyway, just because it's so fucking unreal. And like, if you can ever get out to this rock one day, I want to come. And it's like, it's so remote though. Like you'd have to have, you'd need like some sort of support crew on EPIRB or like your little boat out there solo. Like would not. It's underwater.
No, I told Dane about it because we know where it is, and we're like, just get to this one location that we've already been, and then just keep going twice as far. He's like, hell no. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like, it's, I think as well, must be why your videos get so much hits. It is just that rawness, and your like, I think it is lost on a lot of people how remote some of these spots are and how dangerous the shit you're doing is. But for the people that know, they just like, this cunt's tapped. Like he's hanging off a cliff in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
It's that, just the landscape. It's so beautiful, as crazy and scary as it is. Like everyone can relate that it's like breathtaking.
Yeah.
But like some of your videos I was watching last night, I get a little bit butterflies in the tummy when you're like on the edge of the cliff, like fishing, and I'm just like, fuck. Even you feel like some of the perspectives you capture with your GoPro, it makes you feel that like tenseness.
Yeah.
So
but don't you think though a little bit he looks so relaxed?
Oh yeah, that's the scary thing. Like looks so you're just so calm.
Gido's so calm that I'm calm. I'm like and you can just see like the way you tie your knots and all that. You're just like, he knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like, and I think people love like obviously the fishing content, but it seems to be they love the adventure side of it, eh?
Yeah,
like you
sure.
You could probably put up a video with showing no fishing, but they're sleeping in the cave or the exploration to it, and you probably get just as many hits on some of them.
Yeah, for sure. A sub channel, just Gido's adventures.
Yeah, because how many guys roll with you? Like do you have a consistent sort of crew that help you?
I'm normally solo, and then I just go with either Dane or I have had Zed come with me as well. Yeah, it's mostly Dane really. It's just a couple of just close mates.
Is he Perth based or down there?
He's in Esperance at the moment. Yeah,
Okay.
He was Perth based, so he used to do all the driving while I was in Albany.
Yeah,
and now it's the other way around.
Yeah. And Zed, he's a friend of mine from Ninja Warrior. I did a couple of seasons with Zed. He's such a lad, eh?
Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah.
And to put it in perspective, because in my head, Zed's like this climbing lord. Like, it looks like he grew up on a rock. And then when I reached out to Gido, I said, like, I brought up Zed, and he's actually the one that taught Zed how to climb. So straight away, I was like, my expectations of like Zed's climbing ability, and to know that he learned from you, I was kind of put it in perspective how much you must have been doing.
He's a better climber than me now, though. Yeah. So I introduced him to climbing, and he was keen as, and he's surpassed how good I ever became.
Yeah, he's got some crazy endurance.
Yeah.
Like in Ninja especially. Obviously you're backing your grip strength and but yeah, Zed, he's a freak, eh? And he's kind of like as chill as you are in the videos. Zed's like he's a Zen master too. So that trip where it's both of you, I was like, this is sick.
Yeah, that was great fun, eh? He's a character. Yeah.
Yeah. What else I was going to say as well, you've got a new YouTube video that will be coming out at the end of the month. What's your actual YouTube channel so people can?
It is Gido's Fishing Adventures.
So people subscribe to that because
without the U, no Guido. Gido, Gido.
Yeah, you're gonna want to see a video you have coming up. It's actually a spot where we have gone surfing, and it is the Psychoist slab.
You guys have surfed it, have you?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Ish. Like every time it's something goes wrong. Like the first time we went there, we had a few skis and out there all day, too long. People didn't even really surf it this first time because it was just so crazy. And then on the way in, one of the boys' skis, it started beeping, like running out of petrol. And actually, I was on I think it was our ski. And we actually saw this wave on the way in, and we're like, fuck, we're going to have a little surf. But the other ski was too far in front, and we couldn't wave them down. So they kept going, and we stopped, and we were surfing this wave. They get into the, like, wherever we launched, and they're like, where are these guys? They waited like half an hour, and they're like, fuck, they've run out of fuel. So they've grabbed jerry cans from the car and come back out to try find us. And in doing so, they thought, we don't want to run out of fuel as well. So they quickly put the fuel in their ski. we go out. We had this funnest session. Like, we're getting stand up here, it's like cheering, and we come in halfway and we see these guys and we're like, oh, they must have run out of fuel.
Yeah.
It turns out they put diesel into their ski
Oh no.
to try and find us who they thought we'd run out of fuel. So they've just cooked their engine, and we've seen them, and they're just like seen the stoke in our faces, which made them even angrier.
They're doing a good deed.
Oh, it was a
Did
nightmare.
they bring petrol for you guys or diesel for you guys?
They bought diesel for us as well. Yeah.
You're all screwed then if you ran out of fuel.
Yeah. It turns out it's a pretty expensive mistake.
Yeah,
to
I
run
bet.
diesel through your fuel.
Now
And,
the waves jerry cans. Right?
yeah, we actually called it jerry cans. Right? Yeah. And then, we went out another time, and big wave surfer Brad Norris, he fucking got smoked on the peak of this wave. It's like, I was re-looking at the photo the other day, and he tries to go left, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to die if I go left. So he tries to go right. Turns out he's going to die either way. The lip lands on him, and he just like crushed his spine like pretty bad.
Gee.
And
Is
then-
that off the end of it where it sort of wedges up?
Yeah. And
That
'cause
same wave? Yeah.
You saw it on like, say, a 2 meter swell. We were
Yeah,
there
it was
on,
2.5 when we first landed.
It
Yeah.
was like solid 4 meter plus this day.
I thought it was terrifying at 2.5 and sort of unpredictable as well, like because it would wedge and it'd do a bit of all sorts, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's 2 different angles that come in. You'll get some real west ones, and then you'll get some that have this better, more favorable angle.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it goes so shallow, and it's scary thinking about it.
So you're fishing in that same area, like that's what entices you to go.
Yeah,
around
why'd you
this?
pick that? Like, why there?
I picked that location because I already had been there with Zed, but a different location, and we just saw. I just look at what I think looks like a good ledge to fish. Pretty much, that's
Yep.
how I pick locations.
So you scouring Google Earth
Yeah,
all the time?
all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
You're looking for kind of I guess it's very similar zones, because the remoteness means that you're not going to have the crowds. It's going to be good fish. But do you try and identify where there's a ledge with deep water? Is that the goal?
Yeah, either deep water or when I'm in those places, I don't mind shallow water as well. Like sight casting groper in shallow water is so much fun.
Yeah.
And then they don't get barotrauma, so you can catch and release.
Yeah.
So you have you unintentionally come across slabs, or were you aware of like?
No, I unintentionally
Yeah.
come across slabs all the time. Yeah, but someone you guys know, Cam, I think he told me when he knew I was going there, and he's like, "Get some footage of it. I want to have a look at it." So I don't know how he knew about it,
Yeah.
but yeah. So there's one shot will be in the video where we're walking to the location, and I just watched these big left-handers peeling. I'm like, I've got to set up the tripod and just have one shot of us walking past.
Yeah. Sick. I did. I think you might have put that on your story. I saw on your Instagram.
Yeah,
story.
something from my phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
Something else, but it's similar.
Oh, a different shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But straight away I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I've got so many shots from that. We sat back and just watched the waves in the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyone listening that thinks, oh, we should go to this place, do not. It's not surfable. Like Norris, Kirby, I've had the craziest guys in the world out there, and no one has really got good ones. It's just like a death slab, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you could maybe get a good wave, or you could just have this massive thing close out on you and you're just up on the barnies and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another little side note, we're told that it is a great white breeding ground. I don't know if you've heard that.
Would not surprise me at all.
Way back in the day, talking to some serious shark fishermen, and they were like, yeah, that's where they go.
Yeah.
So the
I didn't
waves
see
are
a
there.
huge amount of seals there, though, surprisingly, but pretty much
They're all
everywhere.
dead.
Yeah, they're all dead now. They've all been eaten. Pretty much everywhere I go, or not everywhere, but a lot of the places I go, people are like, yep, great white hotspot, great white hotspot. And that's why I'm like, that's why I don't jump in and go swimming. Do you guys see many sharks?
Not surprisingly, we haven't seen too many great whites, but you do see sharks and all that.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a little naive to them still.
Probably best to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
I
probably
think-
the best approach.
Yeah.
Definitely in those locations where you're like, it's pretty much you paying $1.10 that they're around there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, when did the YouTube like start becoming what it became? Like, so you just when did you decide to get that? I'm fishing. I love fishing. I'm going to start filming content, and did it just blow up fairly quickly, or?
It probably was about a year before I started making anything where I thought I might actually turn it into a job. It started with me abseiling down a cliff so I abseiled down a cliff and fished on virtually no ledges and caught a jewfish. And I went, I got to go back there, but I want to set it up so I can fish it properly. So I went back and I put a timber platform in. And when I fished it, some guys went past in a boat and took photos of me. I had no Facebook, no YouTube, no nothing. I was just doing my own thing. So I exchanged phone numbers with them because I wanted a copy of the photo. And when I top out the cliff at the end, they sent me a message saying, I hope you don't mind, but we put it up on Facebook and it's gone viral. So that's where I sort of a little light bulb moment. I'm like, oh, could be something in this. And I was recording at the time. I'd get a little bit of GoPro footage just to take home. I wasn't doing anything with it. So that was one of my first videos was from that. It's not actually public anymore. I took it down, but because I think I took it down because I thought it was a crap video, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's where it all started. And then I'd just film stuff as I went and would put together more mashups of like all my good fishing moments over the past month or two and just slowly progress, and I'd get better with, filming things purposefully and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The audience just kept coming.
And the audience just kept growing until, I remember I went back to that same area and fished it, but I had a drone. And the drone was the moment where things took off because people got the perspective of what I was actually doing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first video that I think I got nearly 1 million views in 1 week.
Really?
And I was like, boom, there we go.
The drone angle is what separated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that rock that you climbed down, originally you put the timber set up in, did you put up, were they filming from their boat as well from ages away? And is that a crazy huge rock and they were like, you can't even see you from afar?
Yeah, I would have been like an ant on the side of the cliff. I think it's about a 70 or 80 meter abseil.
Yeah,
but the very top of the cliff is probably 100-ish above sea level, yeah.
And they were filming from their boat coming up. They must have seen you as a speck, eh? I've seen that on your stories. I'm like, I can't even see you. I can't even comprehend that.
That's so funny, hey, when you like picture you're on a boat and you're just in this raw, rugged coast and then you're like, oh, that kind of looks like some cunt hanging off the side of a cliff. And then you get close, you're like, hang on, that is a dude.
Yeah.
What is this cunt on?
There's pictures of putting diesel in their jet ski and it's broken down. Like, that guy looks like he's in a worse situation. Could be worse. Just crossing paths.
Yeah. I can imagine some people would see me at some places and just be like, have to pinch themselves.
Yeah. And that the authenticity, like what I love about watching all your videos is you're not creating false drama. Like the situation is what it is and you're just there and you're not trying to hype it up or anything. You're just being yourself. Whereas a lot of like, I guess it works both ways though. So a lot of the YouTubers you watch, that you can see they're like creating a situation to make it look exciting or whatever. And you can see it's not authentic. But even them fake ones, like even like injured animals flipped over and they're like, oh, we're going to save this animal or whatever. Like it does still get views, but I don't know. I feel like there's two ways you can go about it. And the way you're doing it, I think is like it's like beautifully incorporated without being over the top. Do you ever conscious of just being sort of, I guess what I'm trying to say is you keeping it real? Do you ever keep it?
Yeah, I just naturally do that. I couldn't fake it or like over amp it. It's just not me, eh?
Yeah. And do you think that's probably why a lot of videos do resonate so well? Because people are...
Yeah, and probably resonate with a different audience to what, say, people that do over amp it resonates with another audience again. Yeah. I think my audience is probably a little bit older than some of their audiences. Okay. That's what I reckon. Yeah.
Do you have like a big international audience? I know because you've got huge followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you reckon are there like a lot of Americans that just think you're this crazy Australian hellman?
Probably.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because they have that perception, and like I think you're like the quintessential thing that they picture, like this Aussie dude that's just climbing rocks, slaying fish, just doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Do you have time to go through many of the comments?
Yeah, I can go through some comments. Yeah. After this, I'm editing and take the dog for a walk. Like, no major plans today.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, like, say on your past videos, say, I'm sure you get haters because obviously.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant because you put up a little thing on your story with questions. Yeah. Comments. Yeah. Going through comments. I do it initially, and then sometimes I just sort of post and ghost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to delete comments or anything like that, or you just let it go?
Not often. I've had one. I probably shouldn't reply to them, but earlier days I had one bloke having a go at me, and I replied back, and he like said he wanted to fight me or something, and I just blocked him. I was like, piss off, man.
What was he having a go at you for?
Oh, I can't remember. It was something stupid.
But that's, I guess, what I was wondering, because a lot of people would just not know much about you or whatever and see one video for the first time, and they might think, this guy's risking his life just for YouTube clicks, and they won't know what you're about.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
I get people, well, you're risking your life just to get views. And I'm like, I was already doing it before I had a YouTube channel.
Yeah. So. And what about sort of the vegan angle with people like, I can't believe you hurt that fish. Does that sort of go away, or you still get that?
Not often. I did get demonetized at one stage, and I have no idea what it was about. But I imagine probably a bunch of vegans all reported me at the same time or something.
So like just a certain video got demonetized, or all of them?
The entire channel got demonetized for a week. Yeah.
And then how'd you get it back?
I have a contact. I'm not sure how I got it back, to be honest, but I have a contact with How Ridiculous, and they put in, they mentioned it to their manager or whatever. They're a YouTube channel with almost 20 million subscribers or something. So maybe that brought it into light for YouTube. So when you are monetized, you're part of the YouTube partner program, I think it's called. So you can talk to them, communicate with them. As soon as I was demonetized, all communication was cut at the same time.
Oh.
I have thoughts about YouTube, but anyway, we won't go into that.
We just hit out. We are YouTube. We just hit 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, nice.
Google Island. Send us the check.
So, I had no way to do anything about it, but they reversed it, and I asked them about it, and they're like, "Oh, it was a mistake, and we're sorry about that." I'm like, "It's a mistake. I lost a week of income because of that."
You would have been fretting, eh?
Oh, yeah. I was pissed off more than anything.
On eBay buying hammers and carpentry tools again.
Yeah, I went back on the tools for the week. Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea how long it was going to last. So,
dude, so glad you got it back. That's, I wonder what it was. And I noticed, is there little things like you don't swear too much in your videos? Is that a conscious thing, or it's just you found it helps with the algorithm? Or
I just don't generally swear in life anyway. Yeah.
I'm so bad. I keep swearing.
Oh, good.
What other little things have you noticed, like do's and don'ts with some aspiring you? Because we don't know. We're just putting out clips. Some of our clips get I think our biggest viewers was probably
Slater.
Oh yeah, maybe we did one with Kelly Slater, but we're not ever going over like 25,000 views or anything.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, they've interviewed Kelly Slater, and here I am. But anyway,
no, but that Slater one, we massively stuffed up that because I didn't know about. There's some function like, is this kids and family friendly? Or I had something clicked and no one could comment, so we had no comments on that video.
Oh, we disabled it. It was disabled. The comments.
Yeah, well, we weren't even monetized anyway when we put that up. I don't think, but we definitely have no idea what we're doing as far as putting in swearing or which content.
Yeah, they don't like too much swearing. I think a little bit doesn't bother them. Yeah. I avoid putting in any like fish having blood and stuff like that. Try and keep everything pretty clean.
Yep.
I remember I showed how to ikijimi a fish in one video. And someone's like, don't do that. Leave it on the rocks and let it die naturally. I'm like, dude.
What the hell?
What the hell's wrong with
people? They think you're being cruel, but you got to be cruel to be kind. Just end it quickly.
Yeah, end it quick. But for me, it's probably title and thumbnail, and that first little part of the video is crucial to get a lot of views. Yeah. If people don't click on your video, then they're not watching it. So thumbnail, and then what they see at the start to keep them hanging around for a while. Yeah. And hopefully continue that throughout the whole video. But.
Is there like what's the fisherman YouTube community like the Australia? Do you talk to any other guys doing content? Like, do you know Matty Fields?
Yeah, I know Matt Fields. Yeah, like Field Days. I chat to him a little bit here and there.
There's a couple of Aussie guys doing pretty well in that sort of market age.
Yeah, he's definitely doing well. He's probably more like survival stuff. Like he does fish and all that, but his niche is different to me. Yeah. I chat to some of the guys over east, probably Brooksy, mostly in Queensland. Don't know if you've heard of him.
Nah.
No, okay.
Man, speaking of Matty Fields, I hit up our friend Viggy, who's a mad keen fisherman. to see what his channel was, and then I found his channel and I watched his video. It was so fucking funny. He like catches a tuna and then he must have been posing with it, and it tried to jump out of his hands, and then he dropped the camera in the water and he dove in and didn't know whether to grab the fish or the GoPro.
Yeah.
And so he grabbed the GoPro and lost the fish, and then his video was very entertaining.
Yeah.
But it kind of the other day, because I just got a jet ski, I went out fishing. I went out surfing with this guy Louis, bodyboarding out Roddo Way. And it was the sickest day. And when I'm filming him, I'm looking down, I'm seeing tuna swimming under me. This is just in a little channel. I'm like, what is going on? There's like bluefin tuna swimming underneath me. And I was looking at the back, birds going everywhere.
Yeah.
So we had the sickest day surfing.
In a bait ball.
Yeah. And then I was like, I'm going back. So the next day I went back fishing, and you just couldn't miss. I just like got my bag of tuna like in 20 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
Fish just everywhere. And the first tuna I pulled up, because I had a bad fishing experience a couple of months ago, losing one on a baldy off the rocks. And I was like, I don't want to lose this tuna. So I actually took a gaff. It was probably, now I think about it, it was way, like literally overkill. And I've gaffed this tuna, but in the dodgiest spot, and then it starts flicking blood everywhere. And then before I know it, my white and blue jet ski was red. And I'm like, this is brutal.
Yeah, they bleed a lot.
Oh,
tuna,
dude, I must have hit it right in the artery or something.
Yeah.
So
you got to bleed them out somehow, I guess,
Yeah.
And it didn't come sniffing?
No, I was ready, and I was like 100% because it's so sharky where we were. Where I was solo. But then the rest of the fish, I just trying to drag them on nicely to try and not get this bloodbath going. But it's like you were saying, as I was filming, I was like, I can't even put this on my Instagram story. It looks so bad.
I don't know what Instagram does about it.
They put graphic. They usually put that graphic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
But
you
just
have
kind
to
of-
click to watch it.
Yeah.
Fishing's such a natural hunting sort of thing where you're getting your dinner and all that. But when you do see the blood and all that, it does look barbaric. Like I see why people are like, oh, it looks like you're harming this fish for no reason or whatever. You're just trying to get a feed or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then they go to the supermarket and buy stuff. instead,
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you use TikTok at all, or is it not worth it?
No, I don't use it.
So you just stick to YouTube and just kind of smash that. You obviously got your Instagram as well.
YouTube, Insta, and Facebook. And Facebook's pretty slow. But I could have TikTok, but I'm like, I don't want to waste any more time on more social media. I'll just stick with what's working.
Yeah, and focus on that. Exactly right. Yeah, that's insane. And you know that one you put on your Instagram, that rock, that really, it almost looks like a it looks like a Port Jackson shark kind of looking thing.
I think I know the one. So I spent one night on it, I think.
And you said, should I go back here? And everyone was like, yeah, you got to go back. Like, yeah, that one.
Did I look at it or did I get onto it?
I don't know I think you might have been there once, or you've gone and visited, or it's a wish list, and everyone was like, you've got to go back.
Yeah. I looked at it with Cam.
Yeah. Is that one you were speaking about earlier? No, that's one. Is that one there? That one got like huge engagement. Is that like those sort of areas? Is that where you just map out on Google Earth? And then when you see it, sometimes you're more blown away when you see it in person. Like exceeds expectations all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it does for sure. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if we're talking about the same thing right now though. There's two rocks. So
I'll get it up.
Yeah, show us a photo, and then I'll know that I know.
Because when I was watching your stuff, and I was thinking, do you like stumble across like caves? Like, there's that cave you think you slept in one night. Are you aware of some of these spots or given the heads up? I'm sure there's some spots that you're given the heads up on, but are there ever places that you've gone to and then you've found this sick cave just by coincidence, or?
Sometimes it's by coincidence. Let me think. I did there was one cave that I slept in, not the one that's got 8 million views or whatever. Yeah, that one. So I haven't been on that. That is a big wish list one because it's a known spot. People that know it, and they know it fishes well. But to get swell and conditions to get on there is like once a year sort of thing. Ridiculous. One time, so back to what I was talking about is I fished a spot and I sent the drone out and it was rough and I just was having a look and I see this big cave on the headland. I was like, oh, sick. Didn't know that was there. Oh, no, I was on top of it trying to find out how to get to a ledge further down. That's right. And I sent the drone out and I was on top of the cave. I didn't even know it. And then so I had to go back for that one because the weather came in that night. And other ones I've just walk past and I see them.
That cave one, did you, as you're flying the drone, did you see it on the drone or is it not too?
Yeah, I saw it on the drone.
okay.
Yeah, it was huge. It was like you could fit your house in the cave. That's how big it was.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when you just go, we've got something here. Right?
Yeah, I was like, this is sick.
When
Let's
you
go
get
check
into
that
that
out.
cave, is there like mozzies and shit and bats or
No
crazy
bats.
animals?
I don't think they go far enough back to have bats. It's more just like swallows and that will nest up in there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Surely you've had some unfortunate in your camping, like bugs, or have you ever had an animal come in or any sketchy snakes?
I don't see many snakes, probably because I'm so loaded up and so slow when I'm moving. I'm just making lots of noise and everything gets out of the way. I pulled a tick out of me last night.
Beautiful.
But I don't get ticks very often, fortunately. It's probably like
in your underarm,
once a
was
year.
it?
No, it was down in the groin.
Yeah, they're always in the same
It's
spot.
somewhere warm and moist.
That's kind of
Manscaped, bro.
yeah. They'll sort me out.
Yeah.
Don't have any major problems with bugs. Just getting swarmed by mozzies sometimes when I'm not prepared for it. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you get hit up by like any international, like other countries or other like companies that want to get you over to film content on some of their landscapes, or is it just purely whatever you want to do at the moment in Australia? Or do you have aspirations to go overseas and hit some crazy landmarks?
Yeah, I've got aspirations to go overseas. I haven't been invited overseas. I have had, was it one person from the US wanted to come over and do something with me, or one from the US and one from, I forget where he's from, maybe Japan or something, wouldn't mind doing something with me later in the year, but we'll just see if it happens, sort of thing.
I feel like
Yeah.
you'd be like absolutely home, just like on the west coast of Ireland, like the cliffs there and all
Yeah.
the crazy landscape. It's so, I reckon it's so similar to summer landscape here in WA, but without the sharks. But like
Yeah.
it's so,
Is there no sharks in Ireland?
Nah, nothing that can hurt you. Like,
Yeah.
I think like basking sharks or whatever it is.
What?
But like,
That'd look terrifying.
yeah,
Those
those massive
bastings,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. But like, I feel like I feel like you're like a traveler's documentary dream. Like,
Oh,
do a
yeah.
travel show and just do crazy fishing stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd probably get out and travel a bit more if I didn't have a family.
Yeah, true.
So I go away for a week, maybe 2 weeks at a time, at most. Yeah, and then I miss the family and I want to go home.
Do you have any? Like, I know your roots are like southwest, but do you have any favorite sort of coastlines? Like, do you prefer the north to the south, or you just got sort of unique spots?
I prefer the south to the north because it's just what I'm used to and it's so unique. But every now and again, in winter I like to go north a bit just to mix things up, have a
Bit
bit
of
of a
warm
break.
weather?
Yeah, warm up. Yep.
Yeah. How do you ever get, like, when we do surf trips, and you're camping remote and all that, and it's just the stress of you've driven a long way, you go out all day. I've always found around day 3 of camping, you're almost over and you're like almost looking forward to going back to a warm bed. Do you get that?
I do get that. Sometimes it's like the dip and then you come back up and then you're in the zone and you're like, yep, I'm like ready for it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing,
So
yeah.
what's your optimal fishing trip length? Say solo, and then maybe if you're just with one person.
Solo, probably shorter, would be 3 days because just being alone in the absolute middle of nowhere gets you a bit.
Yeah.
Almost. It's just more intimidating.
Do you ever think of doing that alone show?
I have thought about it, yeah.
You'd be good, man.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. The Aussie one was just a starvation contest.
Oh shit!
though.
Hey,
Yeah.
that was the worst season out of
Yeah.
all of them.
That was in a swamp.
Yeah, I watched some of it. I haven't watched all of it. I got over it. I've watched some of the American ones. They were good.
Yeah.
And optimal for like more than like if I take a mate is probably a little bit longer, especially if you going somewhere via boat. There's the day getting there and getting set up and all that, and then you got to pack down and leave.
Yeah.
And so for it to be too short, it's just a pain in the ass because you spend so much time moving gear, getting set up.
Yeah.
You want minimum 3, and like 4 or 5 days is ideal sort of thing. So you
Yeah.
get a bit of chill time in the middle.
And then you're not rushed and
Yeah.
got expectations and shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever have like those moments where you've got a that you've all fished out, you cooked, but then the conditions got turned back on or something like that, and you're just like, I've got to go back out, even though you don't want to, but you know you probably should?
Yeah, definitely. Or like you're about ready to pack up and just go back and get a fire going and cook dinner, and then a fish turns up and it's just on, like kingies show up or something, for example, and it's just back into it.
Man, I took Van over on the jet ski. My youngest is 9 to Roto.
Yeah.
Because I've been. Did I say it before? I went.
Yeah, when you're cleaning up.
No. Like how many times I went to Roto? Like 4 times in 5 days. Just like new ski froth. I went over with this guy Rory on a boat as well one day, and it's just because there was so many fish there. I was like, it's not going to be like that forever with like tuna everywhere and that. And went with Van, and get over there. The tuna are all gone, but then all of a sudden there's kingfish there. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, wow.
There's a couple of boats like burling up.
Yeah.
And
any
then,
size to them?
Yeah, they were okay. But that I had flashbacks once on a fishing trip. I lost like a fish of a lifetime. I swear to this day, it's the biggest kingfish I've ever seen in a photo or whatever. I had it on the ski, like by the side of my ski. It was like the size of my jet ski, and I lost it, pulled the hooks trying to slide it up on the back of on the ski. But what's your... Surely, have you got a fish that keeps you up at night that you've dropped? Or
just my last trip, I dropped a fish that would have made the trip 100%. It's like a fish that I've been wanting to catch. Well, I've caught lots of them, but it was just a massive one that I wanted to get on fly. And I hooked it, and I snapped the damn hook on it because I'd tied a rusty old fly on. It was like my old faithful, and I should have gone something newer.
Did you get footage of it though?
There's footage of it. It will be sick footage. There's a sick screenshot that I got from the footage as well. So I've got the memory, but it's going to haunt me for a while.
Yeah. How is them hauntings? You go to bed, you put your head in the pillow, and you just come to you like, damn it.
I should have done this. I should have done that.
How about like a trip where, have you done a trip that you've planned everything and just haven't landed a fish and had to can the footage, or have you always pulled through?
No. Well, I have had probably 1 or 2 trips where I would just can the footage because I don't land anything, and then I get pissed off and I stop filming.
Yeah.
Which is probably where I go wrong, because I find I can still make stuff even when you don't catch what you want, because it's life and people still want to watch it, I find.
Yeah.
Even when things, I'll do it as well with other people. They can go on a fishing trip and catch nothing or like almost nothing, and it's a crap trip. But if they edit it well and show the experience properly, I still want to watch it. I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And people probably want to see the Britney Spears meltdown as well.
Because you do see like a lot of dudes, and they're like, first cast. And like, you damn well know it's not. But for some reason, they think that it's got to be first cast every time. Like, But yeah, that's what I was saying before about yours. Yours do seem authentic. Like you show casting out, not catching anything. You show, oh, this isn't working, so I'm changing the tactic to bait now or whatever. Like, that realness, I enjoy watching anyway.
Cheers.
You probably feel like you're on the boat with him, or you're on the
exactly. But there's something as well. Like some of your videos are like 45, 50 minutes long, and there is an art to captivating someone to watch that whole video. Because like I've never found myself skipping your videos or whatever. So.
Cool.
Well done.
I don't watch my own videos back, so there you go. That's good. Once I finish editing, I'm like, nah, don't want to know about it. On to the next one. Oh, no, I have watched 1 or 2 like all-time ones where I have like an absolute epic session. And it's like a good memory.
Good memories, yeah.
But generally, I don't watch my own stuff back.
Yeah. When I was, that trip I did over with Van, I thought, I think I probably was watching your video the night before. I was like, I'm going to document some of this. So I filmed a lot of it. And then it is, like you were saying, hard to capture the moment when I was just like hand holding an iPhone. I did need like a GoPro on my head or a drone angle to pick up the whole bit of the scenery. Like, there's definitely an art to it. Hey,
who's the guy up north that does it? The boat dude. He does pretty sick drone stuff and captures.
There's so many dudes.
Yeah, is it Brody
Brody Moss?
Brody Moss, Youngbloods, but it probably is him.
He does it pretty well. That's what I'm thinking of.
He does very well for himself. Exmouth.
Yeah, he does a lot of that sort of drone footage and captures the
scenery up there. Hey, he does. He captures it well, and that's one, like when I was saying before about creating drama. You can see he is definitely creating drama, but it works for him. Like, look at it. Like, but I guess it's more people, like a lot of the people that haven't done video editing or made movies, or like yourself, like once you, like obviously I've made a lot of bodyboard movies and all that, you do start to notice things that other people might not notice about creating drama or like
the blood on you.
Yeah.
Were you nervous at all bringing Van over on the ski? Like, how old's Van now?
9. I
9.
wasn't nervous at all, but Sarah was dead against it.
Yeah.
But I've just spent so much time on a ski. Like I know how reliable they are. I know them waters well. I know we've got phone, flares, all the safety precautions. He's got life jacket. So I was fine with it. I just didn't want to make Van feel uncomfortable. So I asked him, I must have asked him 50 times, like, are you sure you want to go to Rottnest? Because I didn't want to get halfway there and him freak out and have to come back. And the whole time he's like, no, sweet. And then when we're driving, I was doing everything to make him feel really comfortable. And he just loved it. He ended up driving some of the way. And
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. But there is like,
the pub.
there is like a certain part of regulation wise with like lengths of boat. And there is like a fair bit that you can get fined for. Like,
yeah, Dane mentioned that in our last trip. He's like, we're a long way offshore, maybe illegally a long way offshore. I'm not sure what the rules are. We have all the safety gear, EPIRB, flares, VHF.
Yeah.
But I don't know how big a boat can go where. I'm like,
allegedly 4 meters.
Yeah, okay. I won't say how big my boat is.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you put on a jet ski a sled, you hit that mark.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what.
See, we'll just tow a boogie board behind us.
Yeah. So this one day, man, I was like, allegedly may have been over there, and I might have forgot a life jacket, might not have had flares, might not have had a fishing license, might not have known exactly how many tuna you could catch, and might not have had a tow over there. And I was thinking, like, if someone did all that stuff, like, I wonder the amount of fine they could get. Like,
they ran out of paperwork.
What's that?
They ran out of paperwork.
Yeah, I know. So then, when I went with Van, we might have allegedly got a tow over from a friend, Ben, with a boat. So it's like you can do this stuff, but you just got to get.
Yeah, the mothership, they call it, don't they?
Yeah, the mothership. So it was lucky to have friends that could tow us over there.
Yeah.
Every time we go to Rottnest, we get towed.
Yeah, nice. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Where were you yesterday? So were you down south?
I got home. I was home yesterday. I drove home on Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then came back up.
Oh, no, I'm living in Perth now.
You're in Perth
Yeah,
now.
I'm
Okay,
living in Perth now. Yeah.
So where were you fishing yesterday to get the tick on the nuts?
You don't want to ask these questions.
No, you were like, were you south?
I was south.
Oh,
yeah. That was my south trip.
The tick's gone, eh?
The tick is gone, yeah. I found it when I was in bed, and then my wife's like checking the covers afterwards. I'm like, babe, I've been away from that location for more than 24 hours, as if it's going to exit me and start crawling around to find someone else. If there's a tick on me, it's staying there until I pluck it off and kill
There's something about it, though, like a little bit of you don't want knowing there's something else scavenging off your body, eh?
Yeah.
Like there's something
nasty,
about it. I hate ticks, eh?
They're nasty.
Whenever we do like trips where we're camping, like 9 times out of 10 you get them, eh?
Why do they always go for your plums and your peg? Because I remember a guy in school had one on his nuts, and then
I think
mom had to get him out.
My theory is you get them from, you brush past a bush or whatever, or they crawl up off the ground.
Start on your leg and crawl up.
Yeah, they crawl up till they find the best sort of habitat, the softest skin around your groin, and maybe it's the hair.
They like the bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Manscaped will keep you safe from them.
I reckon you're on here. They're going to hit you up after this.
Yeah.
Tick free. Play with your dick, not your tick. Well, I'm glad you survived that.
Yeah. And how about, have you ever had a massive failure equipment-wise with your cameras, memory cards, and lost footage? Or
I've deleted footage from a trip once, thinking I'd already put it on the computer and wiped it. Fortunately, it wasn't like a huge trip, but yeah, that never came out. I still had drone footage from it, and I just teed that into when I went back the next time.
Yeah,
so I used a bit of it.
Yeah. And what about have you ever forgot something? Gone down this crazy like abseiled 100 meters, you get down, you're like, fuck, I got no reel.
No, I haven't. No.
Camera batteries, you sound like you're onto it.
Yeah, I'm pretty onto it. I haven't had any major dramas. I've broken a fishing reel early days, got out. Was I filming? I can't even remember if I had YouTube back then, but my heavy reel, the bail arm and all that, all the rotor, which holds the bail arm, was broken from the hike in. And I was pissed off, and I pulled the line off of that and put it onto my lighter one. So at least I had heavy line on a lighter reel and just fished with that.
Yeah.
And Dane on one of our early trips had a reel I think it was like the main shaft or something snapped on it, and it just was unusable after the first morning session. And so we just shared my fishing reel.
Yeah.
Do you have any like long hikes you have to do to get to certain spots? Like, is there a couple of hours involved in some of them?
Oh yeah, some of the hikes are absolutely horrendous.
Every good fishing spot is remote.
I know.
bro.
Yeah,
Like,
the further it is, the better it
Yeah.
is for fishing. Not always, but quite often, yeah.
There's so much involved, hey?
Oh yeah, a lot of hard work.
'Cause I was
Yeah.
thinking about you. I was getting all the stuff you're doing day to day, and then Whitey having that 2-hour hike with all your camera gear through the prickle bush.
Oh, dude.
And how broken you were.
Yeah.
But that's like every day for him.
Yeah.
Probably similar locations.
Possibly.
Is there a bucket list fish you want to chase that you haven't caught?
Yeah, there is one harpooker off the rocks. I'd love to tick that off. You know what a harpooker is, or
That's the one you normally catch super deep water. isn't
yeah,
it?
deep water. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a few locations where they do come in shallow
On the
enough.
shelf. Does everyone go to the shelf? to get 'em? Yeah.
You go to the shelf for them. Yeah. So that's one bucket list fish.
Is that possible? Where
It
can
is
you-
possible. Yeah.
you just,
New Zealand,
Ah,
around there, some remote locations, New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be sick.
Yeah.
Be like, what was your climbing mate? Not Klaus. The guy that showed you how to rock climb.
Andreas.
Oh, Andreas.
I feel
Yeah.
like catching a harpooker from the rocks is almost an Andreas type moment, eh?
Yeah. Sure.
Andreas and Guido have done it again.
Yeah.
What's the hardest fish? Have you got the most challenging fish to catch? Like, is there a certain type?
As far as fighting would
Yeah, have you
probably
had
be
any?
kingies off the rocks. Like, though you hook up a big one, you're almost screwed every time. And then nanny guys, as far as being rare, catching a nanny guy off the rocks is very rare. Yeah.
What's the like for? I don't fish. I'm a rookie.
Hmm.
But like, what is so enthralling about fishing? Like, what do you love most about it? Like, is it the fight? Like, or is it?
It's a great, great
it's a
question,
mixture of
bro.
everything, like the places that it takes you, especially when you're land based. That's probably why I like land based so much, because it just takes you some amazing places. And then you never know what you're going to catch, so it's the anticipation of what's going to come up. And then I enjoy a feed of fish at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that I was thinking the exact thing when I was out the other day, and I worked out for me what it is when you're fishing. It's when you hook up something and your rod's bending and you're losing line, and you think you know what it might be, but you don't know what it is. And it's that not knowing exactly what's on the end of your line. That's what I love.
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, that excitement and
the
anticipation.
excitement. You feel
to
like you're
see
living
what's-
what the fuck have I got?
And do you
Yeah.
do you rather? You obviously fish a lot by yourself.
Mhm.
And what about you? Like for both years, I guess. What? Because some guys like fishing for the friendship community, like fishing with others to share
Yeah.
the moment, but then others like doing it fully solo to relax and be by
Yeah.
themselves. What do you prefer?
I enjoy both. Like sometimes I'll have an epic trip solo and I feel like I would have preferred to share it with someone. But I go solo because I enjoy it solo as well. And then just the logistics of trying to tee something up with a mate. Middle of the week, weather comes, I want to go somewhere. This person's going to be a liability if they come with me anyway. It's just easier. Just
Yeah.
going solo is so much easier for me. Yeah.
I've always thought about, I've never done a solo wave hunting trip,
Yeah.
but I think I'm ready. I think I want to find out about myself when you are solo. Like you're like obviously.
Would that just be a scoping trip then? Or would
that's
you
the
actually...
thing. Yeah, but I know myself. If I found a good wave or something, I know I'd want to surf it, which
Yeah.
can get dangerous.
Yeah. Well, what would you do? You'd leave the jet ski and paddle into it or something?
Well, it depends, like if it's a land-based wave.
Yeah,
I'm talking,
yeah.
but a lot of I think the safety, the feeling of safety of having someone there, though, I do enjoy that feeling, especially like when you're something beyond your control, like say you're little 30 horsepower, you hit the prop on a rock and it's fucked and you can't fix it. Or
Yeah.
something. Like that aspect to me is kind of scary.
Hmm,
But I guess if
for
you've
sure.
got an EPIRB,
Yeah, that's why we carry all that backup gear. So
Yeah.
when things go bad, you're not going to die.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
was
much.
telling you, hey, one trip we were like something bad almost. We ran out of fuel or something on ski, and we're like, "Fuck, we need EPIRBs." So
Mhm.
we go to the town, buy an EPIRB. We're out the next day, 2 hours into the trip, way out, and then Rick yells out to Norris like, "You got that EPIRB, don't you, Brad?" Brad's like, It's in the car.
Oh.
We're like, oh no, 2 days in a row.
Bugger.
The safest car in the in the country. eh?
Safest car.
Yeah.
But it's similar to like the extremes of anything. Like you're fishing, the situations are dangerous that you put yourself in, and same with surfing. Sometimes it is easy to go by yourself, and like because not everyone's up to your level, and it can be disastrous if they're not.
Yeah, especially
That's
the
what's-
abseiling side of things. It's just easier for me to go on my own most of the time. I think the only bloke that would be at the same level is, well, I'm sure there's plenty of others that I don't know, but out of mates, Zed. Yeah, Dane's pretty good on the ropes as well, but not quite as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd wonder how, like, when we were messaging, you were saying most people are worried, like, when they watch the clips, they're terrified of the climbing aspect, but you're more terrified of the getting there aspect.
The getting there via water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just trying to picture, like, on them ropes, like, I'd like look at it and like to think I could abseil and be comfortable on them rocks, but when you're there, it's another story. Hey,
It takes a while. You build up trust in the system.
Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't come straight away.
I'd be like, if I was the one that tied the knots and all the stuff, I'd be shitting myself. But like if I was to abseil knowing that someone like you or Zed had done all the rope work, I'd have that blind faith in the ropes. And then you'd feel okay.
Yeah, it must be. I can't even imagine what it's like. It's so raw. It's so dangerous. Like,
yeah,
you're literally
but even just
elements.
holding a knife to gut a fish, if you're solo, like shit can go wrong. Like you've seen that on Alone. A lot of times people are just filleting something and like, when you're solo, are you on high alert? Like you're thinking every movement with this knife, you're conscious, I'm like careful, or are you just living?
Oh, probably just living, but with a little bit more consciousness, I think. Yeah, it depends on the moment. Sometimes you might be more switched on if things are happening or the location just has you a bit more on high alert. But if adrenaline's pumping and all that, you're just living.
Yeah.
I have a full first aid kit and all that if things do go wrong. But I mean, you slice a major artery or something and you are screwed. So
Have you ever had some sketchy moments where you've nearly fallen into like crazy ocean?
yeah, I've had ones. Normally I'm on a rope, so we just get rid of that happening. But I did a trip with a mate, Will, that is a good climber, and we traversed around to look at another spot. And because he was such a good climber, I almost like it probably wasn't a good idea for me to just be like, oh, he's fine, I can follow him, he's good enough. And we got around there. And then we're like, crap, we can't go back. It was too sketchy, the traverse. And the only way out was up. And the upwards was just like absolutely terrifying. So we climbed out without any gear and got to the top. And if one of us slipped, you're pretty much gone, I'd say. And I got to the top and I pulled my iPhone out and I filmed Will coming up. So I have a little bit of footage there. And he just shakes his head at me. He's like, no. So we went back and abseiled in down that spot afterwards. But yeah, that was like a little slap yourself, don't be an idiot.
Yeah. Did you have gear as well, like fishing gear?
I had a backpack that had a rope and climbing gear in it, of all things, but there were no cracks. There was no way to set it up, really.
Yeah.
Maybe if we piss farted around for ages, we might have rigged something up, but yeah, we were pretty much
free soloing up.
Just free soloing up with a little backpack and just skate shoes.
And what sort of cracks? Like
it was probably, I don't know how steep it was. It was less than vertical, and it was just like a closed seam sort of crack, like nothing good in it. Just like real trust. You needed to trust yourself. If you didn't trust yourself, you're probably gone.
Yeah.
So the fact that we both had a lot of climbing experience and trusted ourselves is probably what kept us alive.
Do you consciously put the more experienced climber higher so he doesn't fall down, or is this just how it works out? Or I guess you're not in that situation.
I led that one, and I wouldn't have been the more experienced climber. He's a more experienced climber than me.
Yeah.
But I just went, I reckon we can go up there. Let's go up there. And once I started going up, there was no backing down.
Yeah.
Fuck. And when you went back, were you like, do you look at it and go, that was crazy?
It was when we were at the top. We were both shaking our heads going, oh, dear me. Let's not think about it and let's go back to camp and have a breather. And yeah.
We get this sometimes when you're in them crazy waters, you're out in the skis and this feeling when you get back on land, like 2 feet on solid ground, and you're just
yeah.
like,
You want to kiss the ground.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
Is
sure.
it when you get to the top of the rock, when you top out, and then you're just like, yes, I made it? Or
I'll get it more from like a hectic trip out on the ocean somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, so the same feeling back on. Yeah.
Or I'll get it when I get back to the car after just like absolute mission. You're just exhausted and you're just like, oh, thank God, sit back in the chair and just soak it in, relax for a while.
Yeah. What's your go-to? Say you've had a pretty successful little trip. You hop in the car. You got a big drive ahead of you. Do you like to grab a coffee or treats or
Yeah, if I go past the
music?
servo, it's going to be like an iced coffee and a pie or something dirty like that. Hey? Yeah.
Give it a good touch up.
Yeah. Fatten myself up again. Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been great.
Yeah.
No problem.
Look forward to this next video in this remote location.
Yeah, that's I got 2 videos and then that one.
Yeah.
And then Gid Marks.
Yeah.
You're pushing for it.
Coming 2024.
Literally.
Legends. All right. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
See ya.